What's going on, folks? Welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hey, how you doing? My name's Chris and I'm building a business that suits my lifestyle. Now, the intention of this video, the intended audience, which is hopefully you, is for someone that is between a beginner or a newbie level to a hustler intermediate level. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, I actually did a video about talking about the 3 different stages of a reseller. Now, it is very generalized, but the intention of this video is really to help give some insight to those 2 levels. Now, if that sounds like you, great, that's perfect. We all start at beginner, and maybe you're somewhere in between, or maybe you're transitioning into pro or advanced. That's okay as well. I hope you do get what you want out of this video. Now, what is this video actually about? This video is a response to a nice little comment that I got from Jason Sinclair. I'm going to read it out to you. Can you do a recap video of how much you were earning earlier on from the start per up till now? I think this is a fair game, and I've been doing reselling for 2.5 years, just over that, and it's been an amazing journey. It's been a crazy journey. It's been a roller coaster, and there's been a lot of things along the way which have really worked out, things that have, put me through some big challenges. It's been a roller coaster ride, and that's what we're going to dive in today. But there's essentially 3 things that I want to take you through. One is the journey so far, taking you through what reselling full-time looks like, and this will be taking you through basically a graph over that 5 years, and I'll be calling out different areas of what I did, how it changed, and all those different things, which kind of leads to point number 2, which is some of the moments which enabled the growth and how I went about it. And then point number 3 that I'll be touching on is the best thing that I did when starting my reselling business, but I'm also going to throw in a whole bunch of other little bonus tips in there as well. Now, if you do stick around to the end, I've got some show and tell, and I've also got my business update for week 137 of reselling online. So let's dive in. All right, so here you can see on screen the big roller coaster model, and just to help you understand what you are looking at here is each blue bar represents a single month across January 2021 all the way up until July 2023. Now, as you can see, they're broken up into years, so that's why we've got year 1, year 2, and we're basically halfway through year 3. So we've been doing this for 2.5 years, almost 3 years now, and this is what the journey looks like. Now, on paper, it's very interesting. There's a lot of different lines and things like that. So the green line is revenue. That's how much I've been doing on a monthly basis. The red line is gross profit, which is usually around 45%. I actually net profit around a 30% average. And then the black line is essentially sales, but they're not really kind of relevant to this conversation. But as you can see, there has been some peaks and troughs. There's been some ups and downs. I've done my best months before I went down to do some of my lowest months, and then I've gone back up again, and it has been that roller coaster model. So starting off in January 2021, really the focus here was just learning how to do things. Now, prior to this, 3 months before starting, I had done a lot of binge watching. I'd been looking up some of the other YouTubers, some of the other people doing this space. I'd always been a bit of a thrifter. I'd always been someone that liked to flip items here and there, like I'm talking like maybe something a month. But I always went to the op shops, probably weekly, and it was always a bit of a fun process. Now, at the start, my focus was selling things from home, selling things that I'd already, kind of collected or sourced while op shopping. But it was all about learning the basics, how to eBay, binge watching other people's content. I was only really listing, I don't even think I listed 30 in that week. But in that month, January 2021, I did a revenue of $1,300, which was pretty crazy to think about. This was my first month doing this, but I had a lot of stock, which was probably a bit more valuable than if I was to go out and source for it, because I'd been hoarding it for such a long time. I'd been, thrifting for probably 1.5 to 2 years with my mate, Cameron. You sometimes see him on the channel here, and that's kind of, how it went into it. So my primary source at that time was from home, but I was op shopping about 2 to 3 times a week when I first started. This is January, February, March, or so on and so forth. And I was doing basically anything, selling anything. I was researching it, but main priority was around books and media and collectibles or pop culture. Now, as you can see, February, March, we start to increase. We did 2,700, we did 3,200, and then actually we had COVID hit. Now, COVID, we went into lockdown, and it meant April, I had to kind of figure out what I was going to do. I had to change the way we were interacting. I had to change the way I was operating. And basically from April all the way up until July, August, I did find a bit of a groove. I was able to source a few things locally. I did a lot of hard rubbish because that's where we were allowed to go. But eventually I was able to make my way through it, and I was actually quite surprised that I did what I did do, but sourcing was definitely a challenge. Now, where I got the big break, and you can see up until August things were going great, and then we had a huge drop off in September 2021 and October 2021. Things just dried up, and kind of I dropped a good $2,000 in revenue, which was a bit scary because I'm thinking what's going wrong. However, I got a bit of my first big break, and this was my first big deal. I had someone reach out, a friend in the running community, in October, and he was selling his video game collection. Now, I do have this documented. You can go watch the video. Revenue was already down. COVID had started to clear up. This was the first round of COVID, and then so I'd been listing a lot of fluff. There was a lot of crap in my store, but I was able to purchase a big lot of video games. It was around $1,800, $2,000. I think it works out to be $1,800 because I kept some of it. I spent basically about $2,000 on this guy's video game collection, and this went on to revenue raise around $12,500 over the next 1.5 years. However, majority of it was between November 2021 all the way up until January 2022. As you can see here, November jumped, December jumped, and January was my best month yet at the time. And then it started to die down. What I was able to do, going back just after the video game lot, what I was able to secure was a big lot of DVDs, media, and other goodies from a deceased estate. I got a list for free. I got DVD shelving. I got, I think it must have been about 600 items, and it wasn't just media like DVDs, it was books, it was a few other things as well, but that also did help me get through with about $4,200 in revenue, probably up until really the middle of 2022. I still got a few DVDs left of that, which do tick over here and there, but the bulk of it did come through over the next 5-6 months. So during this time, between January to June 2022, the focus was trying to source as many things bulk-wise, so there was a few opportunities that popped up. I purchased out a few other people, a few Facebook deals, nothing too crazy though. Come June 2022, I did get my first big Lego lot that I was able to source from an op shop. I paid $400 for about 35 kilos of Lego, and that turned into about just under $4,000 over the next 3 to 4 months. Sold pretty quick. As you can see, there's a big jump for July, August, September in 2022. But at the same time, in July, I also got a big haul of 570 books. I did pay $570 for them. It was probably more than 570 books, but essentially that's what it worked out to be in terms of almost sales. It was probably about 600 books, to be honest. I've just got some brushed notes over this, but I spent $570. I got a big book haul from an op shop, and that went on to do about $2,500, $2,700 worth over July, August, September as well. Now, in the same period, August 2022, I then got a big VHS lot that I got from an op shop. Walked in, they had about, I think it worked out to be at 700 VHS. Paid $300. It did bring me in about $3,000 in revenue. Of course, I'm still sourcing, I'm still op shopping, I'm still doing all my normal stuff, but these were just some of the outliers. So July to October is when I had another bit of a bump, but then it started to dry up pretty quick, and I started to realize I need another deal. But nothing was really popping out. Now, one of the big key things, which I'll talk about a bit later, is building connections, building people that you can rely on, that you can come back to, whether it's you helping them or them helping you. And in October 2022, I had the opportunity to purchase someone else's storage unit, which was full of about 10,000 media items, and I got that pretty cheap. I only paid about $1,400, and that has continued to deliver. I've still got a lot of DVDs from that continues to deliver, and that has done over $8,600 now in revenue. Now, at this time, there came a point where I realized I'm not going to be able to, I can't keep all this stuff. Like, where am I going to store it? And that's when I started to think about, maybe it's time to get my own space. Been operating from home, out of multiple rooms and multiple spaces. It just was not feasible. And that meant I needed to be able to find a space that I could do all this. And, well, there you go. I found a storage unit for myself. I went through the process of that. I documented that. Again, you can check out all these videos. And I got into a storage unit, and I've been in there ever since. And then I got a second one just recently. Second was in June, July. So the whole intention of that media lot was obviously to enable myself to get a lot of listings up as quickly as possible, get a bit of a, I guess get a little bit of a buffer so I could start to try and find some different things that I wanted to do, because it was at that time that I was starting to think about, I want to move into clothing. I didn't have the know-how. I didn't know what I was going to do, didn't know what it was going to look like. But this bought me a bit of time because it meant it was paying for the storage unit, like the DVDs ticking over, but also it gave me enough buffer to be able to go do the research, so I didn't have to worry about sourcing, and I could find a supplier and someone that I could rely on that was going to enable me to get the clothing and build the model that I wanted to create. That's what I started to do. Is basically from November to December, I started to trial a few different things. I purchased from a few different suppliers. I was testing out the process. What does it look like end to end? What would it look like if someone was doing this for me? I was sampling, I was testing, and finding what works for me, what I enjoy doing. Now, in this point, I had to put in a bit of a capital investment. I had to figure out what was going to make sense. How much am I willing to spend? And I think I dropped around $1,500 to test that theory. Is this going to work? And it did. It paid off. And then between January to July, so around now, which we're in August now, I've basically gone back and forth with that same supplier, each time doing a little bit more. And it's been a huge part of the business for 2023 and was probably one of the best decisions I made. A bit more on that shortly. At the same time, in January, I did take on a consignment agreement with someone that I know, and through their company, or where their company works. Can't name names and things like that, but that has, we did a bit of a test period where I wasn't doing consignment just to see if it's kind of feasible, and then we moved on to consignment deal. And basically the way it works is I take the items, list them, when we sell it we split 50-50 in profits. So profits aren't always going to be high, but it does bring in free sourced material, and it also makes it a bit easier, and there's a lot there to learn from, but there's also a bit of know-how as well. So that's generated over the last 6 to 7 months around $7,700 in revenue as well. Now, as you can see, from January all the way up until May is when I have had my bull run in terms of getting into the clothing, getting into the electronics consignments, and a few other things in there as well. And we have basically just continued to climb. Now, I've increased my listings. I have changed the way I'm operating. I've been offering refunds. I've been offering returns. I've been really focusing on core business practices opposed to reselling, and building a process that enables it to scale. I was able to hire someone. I was able to have someone work for me, and really focusing on revenue generating opportunities, but also building it into a streamlined business. Now, that's how I went from going from beginner to, a bit more, as a side hustler, to taking it to pro or advanced. Now, the difference between that is someone that's, a beginner is doing less than probably, $10,000 a year. A intermediate or someone that's a hustler is probably doing close to less than $60,000 in a year. And then someone that is above that, but is pro or advanced, in my books, is doing $100,000 in revenue or more. And of course, then you can continue to scale. I'm doing, we'll get to that shortly. So I digress. So one of the key things here that I want to kind of call out, as you can see, we peaked in May and we've dropped back down June, July, and that's just seasonal and makes sense with everything that's going on. The keys to making this happen was ongoing conversation, but building relationships. Now, I've now got 3 people on my network list that I will source for and sell to for all the stuff that I'm getting. There's things that don't make sense for me to sell at scale because I just don't have the process for it. But it means I can flip them into quick cash and sell them to other people. It also means that when I have low days or low weeks on eBay, I've got a little bit of a different source of income. Now, in terms of listing wise, over these 3 years, or 2.5 years essentially, year 1, I've averaged 30 listings a week. Year 2, I've been averaging 12.5 a day. And then year 3, at the moment, I'm doing 20 a day. What I did say was, as I got to the end here, I wanted to share with you the best thing that I did when starting my business, or starting to, to grow the business. Now, as you can see, there has been ups and downs. I've had to pivot, I've had to adjust. A couple of things that I will share with you first, which isn't even the best thing that I did, but that you should be doing, is 1, make sure you sign up to Australia My Business Post. Essentially, this thing will save you up to about 30% on discounts when you build up your banding with them. So if you're not on it, get involved. I'll put a link in the description below. You can jump over there and just get started with it because it costs you nothing. You don't need an ABN. And if you're going to be posting anyway, you may start building up your credit points or your points to be able to move up to a different band to get the most bang for buck back into your pocket. Postage is my biggest cost, so it will be yours too. So the sooner you can lower it, the better. Number 2 is build connections, networks, and people who you can help and who can help you. That has been absolute crucial. Tell people what you do. Tell people why you do it. Tell people that it's your livelihood, and people will give you stuff for free. People will want to get involved. People will think outside the box. All opportunities will come knocking to you. People can't help you if they don't know what you do. Number 3 is track your numbers. You don't need to be very detailed with this. I'm very detailed with this. But if you know your numbers, it can help you keep honest and understand where you're at, but also enable you to make better decisions. If you are looking for a sheet, I have got a sheet of my own, a reseller spreadsheet that I created with Ethan Rushock, my accountant. You can go check out the live video here. It's a demo. We do a live interview about it. We talk about it and you can purchase it if that interests you, or reach out if you have any comments. Number 4 is mentors and support. Kind of like networking, but you want people that are going to keep you honest, that it's going to enable you to grow. Reach out to people. I'm not saying that everyone's going to want to help you because people's time is precious, but there are people that will genuinely want to help you. I do have a champion mastermind where we have accountability group, we keep each other honest, and just help each other learn. That might work for you. That is the champion tier of my membership group, but you don't need that. You can reach out to someone, find someone that you can be in a partner with, and keep each other accountable each day. How much are you listing? How much have you listed? How much have you sold? What are you selling? Have you done this? Does this make sense? And keep each other honest. That did amazing benefits for me. I had the luxury of having 2 Aussie thrifters support me and challenge me and keep me honest, and I'm forever grateful for that. Try to learn, try to adjust, and try to pivot. Things change. When I started, I was just doing stuff from around home. I was then just selling everything. I then moved into books, then moved into media. I did video games. I still do all those things, but now I'm doing predominantly clothing because it's enabling me to get to where I want to go. So it's okay to adjust. It's okay to make changes, but go with the flow, test things. If it doesn't work, adjust, try something else, and continue to just track how you're going, and you'll be able to see if it's working or not. And the big point at number 6, this isn't even the best thing, but this is just a tip or trick that I think you should be doing, is be consistent. If you want to, level up on eBay, level up reselling, is you need to be consistent. Consistent with what you're selling, consistent with the price that you're selling at, meaning it's fair. You're not trying to look for crazy dollars. If you're getting things at $5, $6, $10, and you're expecting to be getting everything for $400 back into your pocket, it's not going to happen. Right? You need to understand what is the market and be consistent with that. You need to be consistent with listing. You need to be consistent with actually doing your due diligence, doing your research, understanding what it is you're selling. Be consistent with how you process items, how you send them, pack them well, how you store things. Do you have a skewing system? Consistency, there's a lot underneath consistency. We can probably do a whole video on consistency, but that is super key. You won't get to where you want to be if you're not consistent. Now, what was the big thing that kept my business so honest, and that has probably been the number one thing that I'm so grateful that I did when I started, early days anyway, was following the profit first system, essentially following a budget on my spending. I will be clear here, I'm not going to take you through the profit first system in detail. You need to read the book, and I'm actually doing a giveaway for the book, so stick around because I'll tell you how you can win that. But something that can be a killer for all of us is we spend too much with our business, we spend too early, we buy too much, we don't sell enough, and don't have enough dollars in our bank accounts to actually cover the post and to grow. I know a lot of people, they use the eBay funding to actually fund their postage, but if you don't get a payout, how are you going to do your postage? It becomes a bit of a problem. So I think profit first enables you to grow sustainably, meaning you're not going to bite off more than you can chew. And it has enabled my business to continue to grow and spend based on what it can afford. And in short, you need to go read the book. But the way it works is essentially this. As money comes in, as you get paid into your account, you then split that up into a percentage-based system. So you'll have an amount go into an OPEX, your operating expense. What goes in there is basically how much you're going to spend on post. That's how much money you have to source. That's how much money you have to do things that's going to come across as an operating expense. Sometimes a capital expense if you've got to buy shelving or something like that. But that's how much budget you have. Now, if I pay myself out weekly from eBay, that's my budget for the week. Owner's pay. You need to pay yourself always. So I split up the money that comes through and I always pay myself. And I pay myself out monthly, but I pay it into the account weekly. So I understand how much is coming. Am I going higher this week? Am I going higher this week or higher this month or lower this week or lower this month? Profit. Profit. This is, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself some cream off the top. So 1% of everything that comes through goes into a profit account, and I pay myself a dividend every single quarter as a reward. Sometimes you don't have to do it, but it's just a way to give back to yourself. Owner's pay is literally what you're paying yourself. OPEX is your operating expense account, and then your tax account, your final account, is essentially how much you're putting away on a weekly basis or a monthly basis to ensure that when you get to the end of the financial year, you've got all your money there enough to pay for tax. And if you're doing GST, even more so. There are other accounts you can set up. I've got a few others that I'm using now, but these are the key ones, and these are the ones that will take you through when you read the book. Now, OPEX should cover all of your running expenses. It should also enable you to have a little bit left over for purchasing power. If you don't have anything left over in that account, you don't spend. That was what I followed. That was the process I did. And if you don't have enough money in your account, then there's something going wrong. It means you're not selling enough. It means you need to change what you're doing. And I think this is super important because you want to be doing this as early as possible so you get yourself into a trained model and a habit of spending wisely. Now, the idea is you want the business to grow naturally. As a kind gesture, I want to give away one profit first book to someone that's watching this video. Now, the only way that you can win this is you need to leave a comment of what is your biggest struggle reselling. Drop it down into the comments below, and essentially I'll be revealing the winner in my next Monday video, which is basically a week now. Yeah, a week from now. So I'll put the date up when the competition will be drawn. You need to put a comment of what is your biggest struggle reselling. Currently right now, what is your biggest problem right now? Chuck it in there if you want to win. So this is the journey so far. There is still lots for me to learn. I'm learning every day. There's people that inspire me every day that are way ahead of me. This is just the beginning. To give you some context, for the calendar year of year 1, I did $51,000 in revenue. For year 2, I did $80,000 and a half, I think it was. And year 3 at the moment, so this is my 3rd year doing this from January, I've now done between January and July $87,000. We're on track, aiming for about $160,000 for this calendar year. All right, we're going to dive into how the week's gone. Now, if you have any questions about anything that I just discussed, chuck them down in the comments below. Of course, let me know what is your biggest reselling problem at the moment, and you can go into the chance to win a Profit First book, and I'll send that to you from Amazon. Right, so week 137, been an interesting week. I have actually been able to sell quite a few things off eBay, working with some of my people that I sell to. And as you can see here, it's been a pretty good week actually. We've sold a lot of clothing, a bit of collectibles, some electronics, which is through my consignment, and then a few other things here and there as well. So clothing, big part of the business. Now, in terms of some of the cool items that I've sold this week, I'm going to take you through 4 items that I think are super cool. So the first one is Adidas Jeremy Scott Wings Rainbow Shoes. Now these came under collectibles because they are collectible items. Now, not to confuse anyone here, the cost of goods of this was $5.42 from an accounting standpoint. When I originally purchased these last financial year, I think I paid $75. I got 3 pairs of shoes, averaged around $75. But because we've moved into a new financial year and how I operate, it now just trickles over to a cost of good. I've explained this before. If you don't understand this, try not get into too much detail. That is definitely a conversation to have with your accountant. So I've been able to sell these for $306, and they've gone over to the US. Maybe it was Canada. I think it was US, and I've walked away with $235 back into my pocket. The next one that I'll call out is some jeans, some self-edged dry bones super future jeans. These ones also $542. Revenue for these was $74, and after fees and postage walked away with $47.31. And then the third cool item for this week was this Ratchet and Clank Future brand new and sealed video game on PlayStation 3. As you can see here, cost of good also around the $5. Revenue has been $56.25 and $30 profit back into my pocket. This one has gone overseas as well. And then the next item that I'll take you through is another pair of jeans, just some general Levi's 505s. These ones cost me $13 and roughly 24 cents. I've sold them for $62.13. They have gone overseas, and I've walked away with $27.26 back into my pocket. So bread and butter kind of items, except for the obviously the the Adidas Jeremy Scott wing shoes. They were pretty cool to go out. If you haven't seen that video, you can go check it out. In terms of the whole week, we have done 112 sales this week, way back up there, really, really good. I was able to upsell about 30 items to someone else, so that did come into that 112. Cost of goods, $943 worth. We have sold $3,600 worth, and profit being around that $1,500. This is gross profit, not net margin. And ASP was only $32.17. Average cycle time was 63 days, so ticking things over pretty quick. I'm very, very happy with this week. It's the week that I've needed after a very, it's been a few dry weeks over the last couple of weeks. This is good to see some uptick. Let's see what happens this week. That's the stats for week 137. We're going to dive into some show and tell. I have been a little bit under the weather this week as well, so I might seem a little bit of a daze or out of it. But here is the show and tell for this week. Howdy folks, welcome to Monday. It's been a bit of an interesting weekend. I've been sick as a dog, and first day I've actually come out since Friday, so it's good to be out moving again. Weekend wasn't too bad. We've had about 32 sales. I've got a couple more waiting to be paid for this morning. But we've had a whole bunch of jeans, and actually we've had a lot more of the jackets jump back up again. We've got a laptop in here, we've got some DVDs, we've got some books, mainly jeans and shirts, and actually not very many shirts, mainly jeans and fleece tops. We've got some other electronics, and we've got some lighting in there. We've got a little bit of everything actually. A few combos and bundles. This week, the plan of attack is... Oh, we've also got this guy going out too. This week, the plan of attack is I'll be getting in more stock. So I'll be getting in probably... Oh, jeepers, another 500, 600 items. So I'll be getting all this ready for that. And now we've got room to actually do the overflow of stuff as well. So it's all happening. I'm going to be doing another washing cycle and all those kind of things. So it is all happening. I'm still a little bit under the weather, so I am taking it a bit slow. Just taking my time. Got to do a consolidation of all this, and still one of my big things that I've just been putting off is DVDs, books. They got to go. The books I'm already working with someone on. The DVDs. Hey, if you're interested in buying some DVDs, let me know. If I haven't already sold them, of course. There's probably about 1,200 items. It's not even all the stuff listed. 1,200 items. Probably 80% of them are listed. They're all clean, no scratches, some sealed, includes Blu-rays. Some of the Blu-rays I might have already sold by them, but hey, if you're interested, have a conversation with me. Lots of opportunity. And there's nothing wrong with them. I literally just need the space to be able to put the clothing. That's really all it is. Anyway, I'm going to get packing, and yeah, need to take some rest as well today, so let's get packing. Alright team, all done, all packed up. Time to get out of here. Let's do it. Alright team, it is Tuesday, and back here, actually not here to pick, pack and post, but we are going to do a pick, pack and post. I'm actually here because I've got a big bundle of clothing that has arrived, but I'll take you through what has sold quickly. We've got a total of, since yesterday, 10 orders to go out. So as you can see here, this is where we're at, and we've got books. We've got this little guy, he's gone over to the US for like 50 bucks. This is the big bolo, probably for the month actually. They have gone for about $306 over to the US. We've got a whole bunch of clothing, some jeans. We've got a bundle of clothing going out here, and even more jeans. Now, I did the reshuffle yesterday, as you can see, freed up more space, and let me take you through what's been happening next door. Alright, so actually just had a whole bunch of jeans and shirts, and there's even a little bit more still to go through. I've already sorted through all the jeans, and they've all been prepped and ready to go for washing. But now we've just been sorting through all the clothing, all the branded shirts. These are all, we've got Wrangler, Ralph Lauren, Tommy H, and a few other things as well. Just going through, I've actually got a customer coming to actually have a look at some stuff right now, so we're going to do that before I go any further in terms of getting them into washing bags. So yeah, that's been happening today. Still got a couple more bales to go through, but it's been a big delivery. It's been a big morning, but I'm excited because there's lots of opportunity here to do it all again. All right, that's a quick little update. I'm going to go pack. Cheers. Howdy folks, today is Thursday. We're back here doing it all again, and it's actually been a pretty good week this week. I've done quite a few sales. I mean, we have dropped back down to 38.3, but we've got 25 sales to go out at the moment. We're still waiting on a few. We've got quite a lot of bundles. Some people come through, purchase 4 or 5 items, a couple with 2, which is really encouraging. Quick little update actually. So I've got the big haul in the other day, and I've still got more to go through. As you can see, it's all still getting sorted through because I've come into a bit of a problem. My washing service, my person that I was going through, she's no longer doing it, which put a bit of a spanner in the works. So I'm just working through getting that sorted with a new person, and then we'll get back on track. So it does just go to show that, you know, last month everything was perfect with the process. This month it's going to be a little different. So it is what it is. Let me take you through quickly what we've got. We've got some shirt bundles going out here. We've got some Harry Potter chocolate cards. We've got a couple of denim shorts. We've got jeans, some shirts, jeans, some North Face. We've got some other fleece, more shirts, denim. That's really what it is, shirts and denim, or denim shirts. We've also got some Pokemon stuff, which I'll take you through shortly as well. So let's get picking and packing. Well, actually, also just packing. Alright, so for the Pokemon winners from the Backpack of Vic Kids raffle and giveaways last night, we've got a few people here. We've got Nat, Extraction, we also had Thomas, we've got Recommerce Dave, and then the big win was Books Along with Stuff Adam, so he got a few goodies in here as well. So well done folks, and appreciate you all. So next week, the week of you watching this video, we actually have a Switch giveaway on. We actually have a Switch raffle on Wednesday, and then the following week will be Pokemon 151. So make sure you get involved. It should be a lot of fun. We're almost at $10,000. At the time of me filming this, we're at 7,100. So I think we're getting very close. I think we're going to make it. Anyway, appreciate you. I'm going to get this all packed up, and then I'm going to get out of here. Alright, quick update. It's the next day, it is Friday, and I've now got someone scheduled to come pick up washing, so I'm going to get all these just literally rocked up. So going to get all these bags and a few others all prepped, ready for pickup, and then I'm going to do another sorting of some more clothes. And yeah, so it was a bit of a rapid day yesterday, but we're back to business as usual. Welcome to Friday. Alright, so time to do some packing. We've got 7 orders going out. We're back down to 38,093, so we're nearly at 37, but it's been a pretty good week. So we've got camera, parts not working going out, CD, some jeans, some shorts, shirt, Dragon jeans, and a Levi's jacket as well. Got a couple of other things. Still got waiting payment for 3 items, so we'll see. Let's pack it up. Alright, all packed up. The other thing that I forgot to show was Kelly, who won the 2 earrings from Mel. These are going out. She's picked the Pokemon ones, and she's picked the Minions. So congratulations. Enjoy. Alright team, so have had all the washing picked up, and now I've just finished sorting all of the shirts, all of the shorts, and there's still a bit more of the button-up shirts, but these will all get picked up on Monday, and then these will probably be the week after. So it didn't take too long. Actually, what's the time now? It's just after 12. Been here since about 9:30, so bit to get done, but it was needed, and now I'm excited to be able to see some new products. So these are all new, like just normal tees, sports. We've got Ralph Lauren in there, we've got Champion in there, we've got a bit of everything, and then all these branded shorts as well, which is Ralph Lauren, Tommy, Levi, bit of everything. So pretty happy with that. Quick little update. That's Friday for you, and might even be back here tomorrow. Cheers. Well, there you go. Interesting things. Really do appreciate you tuning in. Again, if you have any questions, jump in down below in the comments. More than happy to answer any questions, continue the conversation. If you do want to win the profit first, you know what to do. Leave a comment about, what is your biggest challenge in reselling right now. And I will reveal the winner for that next week. And yeah, appreciate you being here. It's been a journey. I'm excited to see what the next 1, 2, 3, 5 years do for me and for you too. So appreciate you being here. You have a wonderful day. Cheers.